A very good evening to everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Different News. Today, as you can all see, I have a very gorgeous and interesting guest in my studio on this episode of my podcast. I welcome Dr. Bratati Kar. She is the manager in Environment and Climate Change, Government of Canada. So we have a lot of things to share today and learn from Bratati. And thank you, Dr. Bratati, for accepting my invite and coming to this episode here. It's a pleasure and honor to host you today.
Thank you very much, Dr. Goswami, and I'm really pleased to be here and share all what we can and what we have experienced. So, thank you very much for inviting me.
So, brother, the first question and my favorite question. I know that you have an extensive career, starting from pharmacology, then pursuing biotechnology in academics, then going into industry, and now you are doing something else. Very interesting. You are holding a position which is very important, that is inside the environment and climate change sector. So I just first want to know about your journey, and if you would share that, it will be very inspiring for all of us.
Thank you very much, Gargi. I'm pleased to share whatever little experience I have in my education. So I started, my schooling was in a campus, IIT Kharagpur. And after my schooling, I went on to do my bachelor's in pharmacy in Birla Institute of Technology, Mesra. And following that, because the biotechnology sector or the biotechnology field was an upcoming field at that time. So I was very much fascinated to jump into that particular field. So I did my master's in biotechnology from Jadavpur University, Calcutta. And following that, I joined IIT Kharagpur to do my PhD in the field of biotechnology. And well, my parents or rather my mom's wish was that I choose the path of becoming a professor, just like my father, who was a professor in IIT Kharagpur. And so she thought that I would jump into his footsteps. But I was more inclined towards the industry and doing more research in the biotechnology sector. So I thought of pursuing further research and coming to the United States to pursue postdoctoral research experience in the field of biotechnology. So I came to University of South Alabama and continued my postdoctoral research there. And following that, moved on to Canada, University of Ottawa, to do my postdoc. And once research never ends. So once I thought that, okay, I need to now come into the private sector or some other industry sector, that's when I got an opportunity here in Ottawa to work in a private sector, which was biotechnology related. And it was in a very interesting field that was working towards developing a kit to detect breast cancer, which is very common all over the world. And furthermore, even at that time when I was jumping into this particular sector of breast cancer, it was very interesting. And I really was thrilled to work in that particular area of developing that kit using the monoclonal antibodies for detecting breast cancer at an early stage. So having that experience and being the manager in that particular company gave me a little bit more experience of, looking at the clientele and, what are the experiences or what are the people, general public facing, who are going through this particular cancer, or even those who want to get, tested. Following that, I thought that it would be also a good experience if I try to join the government of Canada. And so I got an opportunity in the National Sciences and Engineering Research Council to work as a visiting scientist, and an opportunity within Health Canada. And so once I came into that, I worked in the field of vaccines, gave me another set of experience. And following that, I then joined Environment and Climate Change Canada. Again, it was to do in the field of biotechnology. So all this to say is that, yes, it has given me a very good experience coming from pharmacy to biotechnology, working in various areas. And so that's where I am right now. I landed in this fascinating area that I'm very passionate about as well.
Thank you for sharing your journey. I think it's very inspirational. I mean, you have taken trajectories as you wanted your career to be. And I think this decision making, I'm sure that at several points, it was not very easy for you because, as you said, you come from such a rich academic family background, I should say, because your dad had been a professor in esteemed university, institution like IIT Kharagpur. So of course, it could be a very smooth and easy path for you to follow the same traditional footsteps of your dad, but you didn't do that, and you have, I think, explored various facets. So I think it's really very inspirational, and thank you again for sharing that. Well, as you said that your journey is so versatile, so um, I'm sure that you have might have faced kind of challenges at some point. So, would you like to share any specific thing that you remember? And my question is directed to more in terms of, have those challenges given any sort of inspiration to you to, or helped you to take your further career decisions? So that would be interesting to know.
Sure, I can definitely share some of my experience in that. So the challenges, basically, coming from an academic background and conducting research, and especially coming from India to the North American side, and the culture and everything that you're exposed to in the first step, that is a huge challenge. And working in the area, but it was fascinating at the same time to see that how developed some of the setup here was, in order to get into the research area as a postdoctor. I had a very good mentor, and in University of South Alabama, who helped me through to understand the various facets and how to get adapted easily. It wasn't easy because, as we all come from different, coming from a campus life, especially, it was everything was at the tip of your hands and tip of your fingers. Whereas when you come here, you're starting completely new. So that was one of the biggest challenge. And then I would say that I was very lucky in the sense that I had very good mentors all along my journey who helped me understand things better. But I would say that also to adapt easily to the environment that you are makes it easy, and not so much to go back and think, I wish I had this. It's always for us to be open minded, and that is what will make your path easy in terms of achieving what you want. And yes, if there is a strong will in what you want to achieve and what you want to learn, you would find a way to get that. So I would say that challenges, in the sense that as they came, I think I accepted them, and in terms of sharing and even expressing, I was easily able to do that with my mentors, with my colleagues, with my friends. And so I came to know a lot from them also as to how you can easily maneuver those challenges. So it's been an interesting and I would say that really interesting for me to overcome those challenges and face them in the first place.
Thank you, Bratati, for that answer. And I think one takeaway for everybody, particularly people I think it's for everybody, not only for young people or who are aspiring to or who are starting their career. At every step of any career, we face different kind of challenges, right? Any career, for say. So what you said is very valuable. That if we accept that challenge and we stay and we understand what exactly is that, instead of just procrastinating or going back or regretting, I think acceptance is the best thing that we can do, and just go forward. And you are a living example of that, I must say. So, Bratati, as we speak, I was just thinking, like when you were sharing your journey and you told the kind of things that you adapted to. So, are there any steps or strategies you would like to share, particularly keeping in mind for people who aspire to, start their career, or they are somewhere in the middle and they have some goals? Like when you look back, is there any specific steps or strategies that you think you can share, which might help other people to also implement and plan their career, or maybe just like as you did, something like that? So that would be very interesting to know, because I think knowing from experts like you really opens the mind in a very broader way. So would you like to answer this?
Sure, it's an interesting question. I would say that instead of strategizing too much, um, go with the flow. That's the best thing. And because the more you think about it, you'll be caught up in that, okay, maybe I didn't plan for this. What am I supposed to do? Those thoughts will come. But if you go with the flow, I think that, you'll be able, as I said, that you'll be able to adapt yourself very easily. So yes, you set your goals. I would say, you know, set your goals in such a way that you're not running to achieve that, but you are going with the pace. Keep yourself abreast with what's going on. What is it that you want? And how you can get to that point, but not so much in terms of, it's not a race that you want to be at the goalpost first. So I would say that, think first of all that what you want to do in life and what is it that you want to achieve. And I'm sure that, once you keep your avenues open, you would be able to get to those goals and your ambitions very easily. So, as I will say that, I never thought that I would be joining this particular industry, or I would be getting into industry. What will happen to me if I don't get into an industry area? So, therefore, I kept it open. Yes, after my postdoc, maybe if I get an opportunity, I'll work in this, or, if there are other things that come up, I will be able to accept that better. I was, able to get into this private sector, which really helped me a lot in experiencing both private and public sectors. So keeping that open mind really helped me a lot. And I learned a lot, I would say. So please, I suggest all youngsters or whoever are trying to achieve what they want, go for your goals, set your goals, keep yourself abreast, and don't run towards that goal post that you want to achieve.
Wonderful. Thank you for those valuable insights. I think flexibility, adaptation, going with the flow are the key strategies that I at least took away from this answer. And I'm sure that at certain points of my career and certain points of my journey, I will definitely implement these things. So Bratati, like if you would like to tell us what exactly is your role at this point? I mean, what is the work that you do, that you are a manager in this government of Canada and in the environmental and climate change sector. So if you just tell us, because it's very at least I'm not aware of what kind of work is happening and what exactly is your role.
Thank you very much, Gargi. I would say that, coming to this point as a manager, yes, there were a number of steps that we had to, or I had to take. And, as a manager right now, having the scientific as well as the regulatory and policy making experience in the sector, chemical sector, as well as the biotechnology oriented sector, helped me to come to this position that I am right now. So in more like, because government of Canada um, uh, tries to put in place various regulations as well as implement them in order to make the environment, as well as protecting the health of human and protecting the biodiversity. Those regulations are put together by government of Canada in various areas. So specifically in the biotechnology area, that is what we are trying to do as well. So having the scientific background, it really helps me in putting or proposing the regulatory you know modernization, or even implementing the regulations that are being developed in terms of protecting the biodiversity as well as human health. So that is primarily, but the team that I manage is a multifaceted team, which comprises of scientists as well as policy analysts, regulatory making yeah, scientists, and so it's really a very diverse area of team that I'm trying to manage, I must say. And it's really very interesting to see what's happening around.
That's very interesting to know, and I'm sure you are a fantastic manager because I think with such a versatile experience and such, with academics and every experience that you have gathered at several steps of your career, I'm sure that you have a lot of insights to actually help your team, or take together things forward more. And it's a very interesting work that you do now, and I am understanding that it is like not a specific area, but it is more like multidisciplinary, if I'm not telling it wrongly. So I think it's really interesting. And so I'll come to my next question, but before that, I think what is intriguing in my mind is that you said that you propose changes to policies, or regulations, modernizations of regulations. So uh, can you tell us something like how you yourself remain updated about these things? I'm sure that you are in that working environment, but still, uh, how you remain updated, and what are those key strategies or the critical thinking that you put when you really have to propose this kind of reforms? Because I understand that it is a different type of job profile that you are serving.
Very interesting question. I would say that to keep myself abreast, what I try to do, or what I suggest my team to do, is go through different reading a lot in terms of the scientific publications, or publicly available literature. And the other thing is that because in our field we do have to interact with public, we have to interact with stakeholders, interact with on international platforms as well. So when you have this network, it helps you also to keep abreast of what's going on around the world. So there are many avenues, even conferences, attending workshops. That's where you come across various scientists across the world. And I would say that again, if I stick to a specific area that interests me, that wouldn't help much, because then I have to know what's going on around, so that you can bring together those ideas, brainstorm them, and then try to put them into what actually you're trying to modernize in the area that you're working. So these are the different things that help me, at least, to keep myself abreast. And I'm not saying that there are things that I am always up to date, but yes, if my team or anybody comes up, hey, this is what's going on, are you aware of this? I would go in and try to look for more information, read about it, and then try to brush up what I have.
Thank you for that answer, Pratati. A funny question, like, if you are given an opportunity to go back in time and revisit your career path, is there any point or anything that you think today that you could have done differently back then? Is there something, any such thing?
Um, To be honest, I don't regret where I started, what I did. But if I have to go back in time, I would say that I wish I was more technology pro, which I think that the generation now has, has those things available easily, which we didn't have at that time. And so it took us a bit longer to even have access to various things that are easily available, at the tip of their fingers right now. So if I have to go back in time, I would say that I wish I was, born in this era to really say that, oh yeah, I know about this, I know everything. So technology is something that I wish I had, at that time easily available. So that's where I would like to go back in time. But as I said, I don't regret anything that we had at that time and what is available now, because every stage of my life, I think that I say that I have learned and I'm still learning and I will continue to learn as well.
One question I want to ask you, because see, when we are following a particular pathway, career pathway, we are taught in certain way, we go through our universities and other specializations. Particularly, I am asking this question on behalf of the entire scientific community or scientists, because I think when we are in typical academics and we are going even in industry, until unless it is necessary in our career, we do not know much about these policy making things or changes that are happening, until unless it is too crucial, which is required in the path that we are following. So do you think that being aware about these policy changes or different kinds of policies that exist, uh, is it a important thing that new generation scientists or people who come from our core fields like biotechnology and other serving in other healthcare areas should be more aware, and they should be adapting this knowledge gaining path? What would be your opinion in this?
I would suggest that yes, at least knowing about certain policies, it's not possible to know everything, but yes, the area that you are passionate about, the area that you're working, uh, it would help, in fact, to keep yourself aware and keep yourself knowledgeable about the different policies that exist or that are upcoming in different countries. Because if you want to look at various jurisdictions and if you're trying to think that, okay, maybe this is something that I can adopt in the area that I'm working, it definitely helps. And so having also that experience in not only the scientist or the scientific or the research area that you are working on, um, it also helps if you are gaining that experience in the area of how to develop a policy or to implement a policy in these research areas or in the scientific community that you are trying to work, or you're trying to improve, or you're trying to implement. So having both the sets and making it as and when you think could be applicable is it would be definitely beneficial and helpful, I would say.
Thank you so much, Bratati, for that answer. I think it's very insightful and very valuable. If somebody wants to build up a career just like yours, so what are certain specific skill sets, or in terms of, say, hard skill or soft skill, uh, plus any kind of certifications or courses that they should look into uh, to follow a similar career path as just like yours?
Oh, thank you so much, Gargi. I think that
Yes.
it'll be hard to say that, okay, you need to follow exactly or, similar to what, but suggestions, just for the younger generation, I
Yeah.
would say that, you know, set your goals, go for it, and don't keep yourself open to and be flexible, as you mentioned, Gargi. And I would say, um, don't set up any strategies, and but yes, you need to plan. If I have to get this, then what are the things that I need to get to put in place first of all in order to achieve. And don't hesitate to reach out to people who have that knowledge, have that experience. Networking in today's world is very important, and especially keeping yourself in the network, or even in that area that you are trying to be you are passionate about or you're trying to achieve, is very important. So as you go along the career path that you want to take, I would say that, be open, reach out, and try to gain as much experience as you can. Not only as, if I think that, yes, I want to be a scientist and you're passionate about it, go for it. But if you think that having a multifaceted skill set and experience would be beneficial in today's world, go for that. There is no hard and fast rule that you need to adopt. But just as a suggestion, like I kept myself, yes, I have the scientific background, but I also wanted to gain experience in the regulation making and in the policy making area. So I kept myself open. And, when that opportunity came, yes, I just jumped into it. And that's what helped me. So I would say that adapting, flexibility, and, keeping an open mind really would help.
Thank you, Bratati, for all the valuable insights that you shared. One last question would be like, what are your future plans? Like, do you want to continue in the same organization and position that you are in, or go up in the hierarchy, of course, or you have, I mean, what is your vision? What is your plan in the future? I mean, what you want to be in the future, or you want to continue this position? So I think that's just like, I'm very curious to know if you want to answer. Yeah.
No, thank you so much, Gary. It's interesting because I have some things that I'm very passionate about besides my career. So I would like to pursue those as well. And but if you ask me that, in my career where I want to be, I would say that I am really fortunate and happy about the way I'm contributing, and I love to help the community. I love to see, like, youngsters thriving and coming up with various ideas. I really try to be as young as possible and try to mingle with the younger generation, so that I'm always open to learning. And so in my career, if I where I want to see, I take I just go with the flow. And so if tomorrow, I am ready to jump into a different position, sure, if I'm capable of, and if I can take that responsibility, I will. But not that, I am losing my sleep over it. But at the same time, I really want to also pursue my passion. And that's where I try to do, besides my work that I'm dedicated to during the working hours.
That's great. And thank you so much for your time. And it was wonderful talking to you. And I'm sure from this episode, uh, we already got a lot of learning. And people who might be watching it at a later point of time, they will get a lot of insights which are practical and which would be excellent takeaways for implementing in their career paths as well. Thank you, Brother, so much for your time today.
Thank you, Gargi, for inviting, and I hope I have conveyed to people what I have learned and experienced. Thank you so much.
Thank you.